This is it's kind of a simple, it's really simple class, but it's something, many of the many simple little insights have really profound application. And so this is, this one's very vivid. You can see this. And as soon as you apply it to your chart, you're going to say, oh my, it just stands out. Wow. Then you still have to work at planets and signs, planets and houses, categories. All of these things function for each one. But we're not seeing how they normally spin into each other. That's where cause and effect comes in. Or interact. There's the cause and effects of how you're relating, who's winning, who's not winning, losing, whatever. And based on your integrity and your motivation. If your integrity is wacky, if you don't have integrity, it's going to cause a wobbly thing. You're going to get relationships that can't expect integrity from you. What kind of relationships or successes are you going to have? If you have your integrity, that can be too demanding of other people who don't have. Still, it can bring about better selection. So even the proper balancing of the relationships and the good and the bad in relationships hinges on your ability to take in impressions and work them through and be able to express truthfully and express where you're coming from. Because if you lose where you're coming from, you're just playing a role, being a puppet out in the world. Wouldn't matter what country, what nature, what quality, this happens. The same thing happens everywhere. This is one of the beautiful things in astrology. It's true for regardless of race, religion, sex. These things, it affects your individuality, which then projects through your, it gets experiences through your sexual polarity. But your individuality, these things apply to men and women. It's not one or the other. Okay. So another very vivid one, the 11th and the 8th house. You have relationships, good, bad, communicated, not good, one-sided ones. Does it turn around? Does it change? I won't leave when they're down. We'll have to change it, whatever. That's relationships. But the 8th house is the energies of togetherness, the trust in the relationship and the resources in the relationship. How both people have, are both people bringing energy into the relationship, what you both bring in, how you share. It's the sex house. It's the commitments around sex and around trusting. So amazing. You get together with someone, you make love, you sit quietly, you're together, and you start sharing all your most intimate details. We don't talk to God like that, but we'll talk to each other like that. What's trust? Of course, then there's trust in the community. There's social concerns. There's being valuable in the community. These are all factors of relationship. What's the purpose of relationship? Are we living meaningfully? How are we using our resources? But that joint resources is challenged and spins over into the friendships you have or don't have. You have friends or enemies. How come nobody loves us? How come nobody likes? How come we don't have any friends? How come it's only your friends? How come it's only my friends? How much of the joint energies in any relationship are going to your friends? In a healthy, idealized relationship, a healthy relationship, there's an equal amount of money going to your friends and my friends. But if it comes down to it, if the husband's got the job and his boss wants to come over and have the dinner, you're going to make the dinner, do everything for the boss, for the husband to back up the boss, for his friend to do it. But if your friend want to come over and meet your husband, come be there, your husband going to often, or wife or husband, I'm saying husband, not guy, anyways. The other partner is going to say, the guy's going to say, the guy's going to be too busy to be there for the wife that often. Big fight over how much our resources are being used for our social creativity. There's social commitments and social creativity, paying rent, mortgages, dealing, taking care of kids, expenses, trusting each other to do this, working on it to do it, aligning ourselves to try and make it better. Do people paying one rent? Okay, but friends cost money. And that money, is it used fairly across a relationship? Is used equally? Often it's not at all. And of course, as soon as this gets imbalanced, you're going to have a topsy-turvy top. It's going to be much, as soon as it gets imbalanced, your whole social function is going to be wobbling all over the place. It's enough that the pole star wobbles, or the pole wobbles and spins around the heavens over 26,000 years. In a day, how much more dynamic is that wobble going to be in a smaller circle? So, friends and enemies. So your husband, your wife may have a whole circle of friends, and in that circle of friends is an ex-relationship, an ex-partner, or someone they slept with another time. Can you be friends with such a person? Oh my goodness. You get all the cycle of this, oh, I can't be in the same room with her. How come you're still in touch with her? How come you're not just trusting me? Or even you're like someone's mom is really concerned with how much money you're making or whatever, and the mom is very involved in affecting who's your friends and what you're like. What the baggage each people bring to the relationship, your social baggage, how you're bringing resources together. If you're married into a rich family, that rich family is going to be very powerful around how money is used. And you're going to have to see how, so what friends one has, the associates, one friends and enemies, associates, people that, acquaintances, good and bad. If you put out in your 12th house insecurity, you're not going to get secure friends. You're going to get people relating to your worries. You're going to get lesser people. Of course, the lesser people are going to be less worth spending money on, or if you do, they get ripped off. There can be complications in how this happens. But the trusting of a joint bank account, or we're both putting our resources together, are we each putting equal amounts in, or is it about equal amounts or equal amount of trust? If one partner has a really rich and the other person isn't, is the rich one buying the relationship and is the other one being bought? Is the trade-off adequate? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's too stereotyped. But this puzzle between joint resources and friendships, do you have any mutual friends? The 11th house is your social creativity. It's going out to see some entertainment, it's going out to watch the theater, to be part of something where there's other people around, it's going out to restaurants, going out to see things and be involved. 5th house is your personal performance. You know, like if you had, what would you say? Masturbation would be something you can do alone in your own house instead of perform as part of your performance, or not performance, just for your satisfaction or whatever. But a lot of people socially masturbate or doing things that are just not relating to any other people. They're just projecting it and carrying it, and it affects the pecking order of who's trustworthy and who's going to come in. So your pecking order of who you meet, your friends, your peer group, that's 11th house. The 8th house is the resources that are available inside of that. So like you get kids today they're afraid to go to school if they don't have a brand name. If I don't wear the brand name clothes that's super expensive, I'm going to be ridiculed by the group. So there is a pecking order of who has money, who doesn't, who has these resources, who have parents that are trusting and being together, who doesn't, who has friends, who doesn't. My friendships mostly came through sports I played with, the people I played with. We were a team. Other than that, I came from a more abusive scenario and a poor family, so I didn't really integrate that well. This was a more challenging thing. And again, it certainly would have had an effect on my marriages and my divorces. So this 8th house of trust and sharing and using energy together, of each responding to what the other has, but not necessarily misusing it. It's using it in consensus. When that consensus disappears, or the use of these resources get one-sided, so one person's giving everything, the other person's not. One person's being abusive, the other person's trying to cover it up. All of these things, so that nobody else in the 11th house knows. The 11th house can be a big facade of actual pretense going on. But really, it should be, if you have resources, you're going to want to have people over to dinner, you're going to go meet people, you want to do things, you want to function. This is functional reality. How can you have a friend if you don't do functions with them? If you're married, you won't let someone come over to your place. It's not a function. It's not a friend. Or you'd have to find something at work to do. Often we have dividing lines between what's a friend at work, what's a friend here. We put them in different pockets. But often we think individually who my friends are and who my husband's friends are, but don't see it as a team. This is the teamwork scenario. We're together and this is the team of who we relate to, which is why many marriages don't have single adult friends as friends, because it can jeopardize a single person can jeopardize the balance of the relationship. It happens, but it's like, I'm just pointing out challenges that could come up. So we've studied the houses going around it, mostly down or 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 12th, 11th, 10th, and going around this one. As you go around, many of the books go around the other way, but I found this way to be the most insightful. And now we're looking at it as they're running into each other. This is a whole other dimension that pulls these things together and gives you 2 different areas to work at. The signs of these houses, they're not going to be opposite, but they're going to be interacting each other. The planets in these places, on one side or the other side, they're going to affect each other. What kind of friends do you attract? Who do you know? Who knows you? Of all the people you know, you might know a lot of people, but are you really friends? Do you do things together? A lot of people have so many friends, they have no time to do their own thing. Do you just hang around with groups in the hood or whatever? It's somewhat based on who's available in the world around you. It's a really complicated thing. We all come out of our mothers, we all come out of our backyards, we come out of our last night's sleep, and we run into the world, which isn't what we thought it was. We're seeing our piece of it. We don't know what it is. We just coming from our piece. Other people's can be the same or different. Whether you're rich or poor, you can get just as isolated in a rich house that's empty and not alive than a poor house that's full with people's struggles and vibrant energy. So social meaning comes out of this 8th house, but it's tied up to how you apply that to friends, how you pull a team together, how you work to raise funding for somebody's difficult situation. Let's raise some money to help it out. Right now in the world, we have such a wave of people who wants to help the losers, who wants to help other people. Let's just get our own, pay for our own stuff. And we have a really wave of selfishness, and this area is really afflicted in some of the selfish attitudes in the world. You know, this is our home. How could those immigrants come in and threaten our home or come into our country? Oh, all this stuff. Anyways, it's jointly reinforced by the things you trust and share in a relationship, good and bad, will affect good and bad what friends you have or don't have. And if it's not balanced, and if this isn't vibrating and humming and interacting with each other, your balance and equilibrium is going to be knocked off really easily. One scandal, suddenly, whoa, you lose your social bearings altogether. So it affects how high you climb on the pole. So the fulcrum of the midheaven, the top point of the midheaven, is not anywhere near as stable or as centered as the IC, because if the IC isn't together, anywhere else that there's an imbalance will knock this, will wobble the top. You got to work your chart and a few other people's charts around this as you get it. And it's so personal, I didn't specifically want to take people's examples from the class, even though it could have been, yeah, it could be done. But these personal stories, we're in a world where everybody's putting personal stories out everywhere and you don't know where they're going or whatever. Within astrology, you can't help, you have to use personal stories or it's not astrology.